What's good, everybody? It's Jonah. Come back at you on another video. So with this video, I want to share with you guys an idea that you've always known to be true innately, but maybe you always haven't been fully aware of it and its power. And that idea is this, right? That the things that you think about in your mind comes to life. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, well, Joe, I knew this. Obviously, the things that I think about in my mind, of course, these are the things that end up unfolding in my life, and these are the things that I experience, right? Because what I think about in my mind is what I do, right? I understand it sounds very simple and straightforward on the surface, but I want to give you guys examples of it, how it happens, and explain to you guys why this can also be detrimental to you if you're not careful, if you don't protect it, right? Because a lot of times the same people who say, oh, well, yeah, I knew that already, right? The people who are quick to jump the gun and say that it's obvious that they knew it, these are also the same people that don't protect their mind, that don't protect the thoughts, the images that they have. They just allow anyone to hijack their minds, right? And it's important for you to know the power, how it all works, so that you can use it in your favor to help create the life that you've always wanted, right? Now, if I give you an example, the best way I can explain how this works, if we look at the 1900s, right? Like if we were to use a movie, like how the movies used to work back then, it used to be, of course, a big screen, and there'll be a projector, and the projector would project light onto the screen. And the way the movies got played back then, they would use a movie film. So it would be a roll that has a big roll that would have a bunch of images. And obviously the film roll gets pulled through the projector at a fast rate so that the pictures can move really fast to essentially present a video or the movie. And that is how movies would be watched, right? It would be images that would flash through really fast through the projector, right? The movie film roll gets rolled through, it would flash really fast, and then from the projector it would project out everything into the screen, right? The screen, which is where the movies watch, that's pretty much your life. That is your life experience. And the movie film and the projector, that is effectively your mind. So the images that you think, the images that you implant in your mind is what ultimately gets projected out onto the screen, which is your life. The images of your mind is what gets projected out into your life, and that's what you get to see and experience in your life. That is how it works, right? Now, if we use an example, right? Here's a simple example to show you how this works, right? Say, for example, you finished your day of work or school or whatever, and you're back at home and you're watching television. Now, say, for example, you're not really thinking about anything. You're just sitting there watching television, right? You're just enjoying yourself. Then out of nowhere, an advertisement appears for a chicken sandwich at this fast food location that's nearby you, right? Now, as you're watching this commercial, right, all of a sudden you begin salivating because the chicken sandwich looks really good, right? Like obviously these commercials, they make the food look really good so that, you can obviously be hungry and go out of your way to go get the meal, right? So prior to watching this commercial, you weren't even thinking about food. You were just sitting there, just enjoying yourself, relaxing, whatever it is. But now, because you saw the commercial, right, you saw the chicken sandwich, how delicious it looked, and you know that it's at a location that's nearby you. Now, all of a sudden, you go out of your way to go into your car or the bus or the bike, whatever, and you take that and you travel to that same location and order that chicken sandwich that just looked so good because now you're craving it and you wanted it for dinner. Notice how prior to watching that commercial, one, you weren't hungry, and two, you weren't even thinking about food or thinking about that chicken sandwich in particular. But because it was now put at the forefront of your mind, right? Because now you're looking at it. So because you're looking at it, now it's in your mind. You're thinking about it. You have the images of the chicken sandwich and how amazing and delicious it looks. And, that now all of a sudden you're craving it because you really want one because you haven't had one in a long time, right? Like all of those images are now implanted in your mind. So then what does that do? It gets projected out into the screen, into the real world, which is you going out of your way to travel to that restaurant to go buy the chicken sandwich. That's how it works. The images that you put in your mind, that is essentially the movie film and the movie roll that gets pushed through the projector so that it projects onto the screen and it begins appearing into your life. So it's always going to be important for you to be careful and to be particular as far as the images that you allow, either the images that you create in your mind or the images that you allow to make its way into your mind, because there is increased likelihood of the images that appear in your mind for it to unfold into your life, right? There's plenty of people who, when they come home from work or school, whatever, they immediately turn on the news and they watch the news because they want to be informed about what's going on in their country, their city, the world. And most of the stories there are negative stories because the negative stories are what sells, right? Drama sells, right? People love gossiping. People love talking about the next big thing, the next juicy story, the explosive news, right? Everyone wants to get in on the action. They want to know what's going on. They want to hear, right? Like that stuff is what gets people eager to tune in, right? And so most of the stories on the news are negative for that reason, not only to create fear in your heart, but also if most of the stories are negative and most of the stories are showing problems in the world, then it's conditioning you to be problem oriented. That means you're going to be, because if they're showing you problems and you're always watching news, you're always thinking about problems. You're always thinking about problems. So it conditions you to become a problem oriented person. You're always going to be thinking about everything that's wrong. Everything that's wrong in society, everything that's wrong in the world, everything that's wrong with you, everything that's wrong with other people. You're only going to be thinking about everything that's wrong. And then when there's problems that arise in your life, you're only going to be thinking about problems because that is that's your conditioning. You're not going to be thinking about solutions, right? And you're not going to be questioning these problems anyways, because some of these things that appear to be problems aren't actually problems, but because you're conditioned to think that everything is a problem, then you just see things as problems and then you won't be solution oriented, right? This is how it all works, because if you are not careful with the images that you plant in your mind, or if you just freely allow anyone to take control of your mind, to hijack your mind, then you are no longer in control. You are at their mercy because they're planting the images in your mind because they know how the mind works. And because of that, if certain images keep appearing over and over and over, then eventually they're going to unfold in your reality, in your world, because you're always going to be thinking about it, right? And I want you to put thought into this, right? With the exception of the things that we do automatically, say, for example, it's like waking up, brushing our teeth, putting on our clothes, or if you have to drive somewhere, right? Driving somewhere like to work and back, whatever. Besides the things that we do automatically that doesn't require thinking, like even tying your shoes, right? We don't have to think about tying our shoes because we've done it so many times. It happens automatically. So we can tie our shoes and we can be thinking about something else while tying our shoes, right? But for anything else that we do that doesn't, that requires manual thinking, that we actually think about, right? Those images are what's going to appear in our mind, right? The things that we think about, right? Those images are what we end up operating on. So this is why you want to be careful with what you allow into your mind, right? This is why you want to be careful with all of these, with news outlets, with social media platforms. Because for example, with social media, like some people will say, oh, well, I can control who I follow, and that's good, but you also can't control what the people you follow post, right? Because they can post one type of content and then they can go rogue and decide to post other things, right? Like that's out of your control. What other people post, even though you can control who you follow, what other people post is out of your control, right? Like, and in those social media pages, right, from time to time now, advertisement will appear, right? Those advertisements you can't control, right? So you just want to make sure you are careful with the things that the ideas and the images that you plant in your mind, and the ideas and images that you allow to enter your mind and to be planted in your mind, because that is what ultimately ends up unfolding in your life, right? This is why if you are accustomed to just watching TV nonstop as soon as you come home from work or school and you watch TV for 3, 4, 5 hours, however much time, you are being conditioned to become a consumer, because in between whatever show that you're watching, there's going to be advertisements, there's going to be commercials, and these commercials are basically, there's different types of commercials, but the majority of the commercials are basically telling you, hey, go buy this product. Hey, this product exists. Hey, go buy this. Hey, go spend this. Hey, go buy, right? And you probably aren't even thinking about buying anything or spending money. But inevitably, there's going to be that commercial that appears that showcases something that looks really nice, that one, something that you might need, or two, something you think you might need, or three, something that like you just want. And then you end up spending money and you weren't even planning to do so, right? And you're constantly being bombarded with advertisements, so you're constantly being told to spend money, right? Just the other day, just recently, right, you had Black Friday pass and Cyber Monday pass, and I see that I'm looking at my emails, and I'm getting a lot of email for Black Friday deals and all these things. And me, because I spent so much time in this personal development space, I'm hyper aware of it now, right? So the reason why I don't unsubscribe from it is because I essentially use it for like research purposes. I sort of go through and I start looking at the deals and start saying like, wow, like I can only imagine they're sending these emails to me of like all these deals and all these specials. I can only imagine how many more people are receiving emails like this that are basically telling them, hey, hurry up and go get this deal right before it ends, right? You can save all this money, even though you're not saving money because you're spending, right? Like you're saving money for the original price, but you're not actually saving money because you're in fact spending it on the product, right? So things like that, right? It's like in those cases when you're being bombarded with all these marketing emails and all these Black Friday specials and Cyber Monday specials, it's like they're bombarding you with images. They're bombarding you with saying, hey, spend money. Hey, buy this, buy this, buy this. And if you're constantly being bombarded with offers, it's more likely that you're gonna spend, right? Because now they're putting offers in your face. When previously, if you weren't tuned into your email or tuned into watching TV and all these things, it's like you wouldn't have advertisements and offers and food commercials and everything like being put in your mind to get you to go out and buy all these things, right? This is how it all works. These companies, these businesses, all these entities around the world understand that attention is the new currency, that they always strive to get your attention, because once they have your attention, they can get you to do what they say. And that's usually mean to buy something, to spend money, to go take action and go do this, right? And it's important for you to remember how your mind works and understand how this works so that you can use it in your favor, so that you can be the gatekeeper of your mind. And whatever it is that you don't want to experience, whatever it is that, whatever it is that you want to protect your mind from, you can be the gatekeeper and say, no, I won't allow anything to enter my mind. I want to be the one in control of my mind. I'm the creator of my mind. I was given my mind to serve me, myself, and my goals and my dreams and my aspirations. So I'm gonna use my mind and use my power to go do that, right? And not give my mind and the power of my mind to other companies. This is how people are typically controlled, and that's why they struggle financially, because they're conditioned to become consumers, because they're not using their mind for themselves. They're not thinking for themselves. They're not independent thinkers. They're just doing what they're being told. And I'm doing this video for you to remind you of the power of your mind, so that you can take control of it again, so that you can begin making the best decisions for yourself, so that you can become an independent and free thinker to help create the life that you want, right? Rather than allowing these companies or all these other people and entities to plant all these images in your mind, it's time for you to begin planting the images that you want. Use your imagination, your creativity to envision the world that you want to see, to envision the life that you want to be living, the things that you want to experience, because once again, it becomes what gets projected out as a movie into your life. So why not begin thinking about the images and the pictures that you want for your life, for the things that you want to experience, right? Use that power to your advantage. And that's how it all works, right? So you want to protect your mind. You want to be essentially the gatekeeper of what you allow to enter your mind, so that you can maximize, so that you can maintain control and maximize the power of your mind towards whatever it is that you want to put it towards, and to not allow yourself and your mind to be at the mercy of someone else. So that's how it all works. That is the truth about your mind. The images that you plant into your mind is what gets projected out into your life. So you want to be particular, you want to be intentional with the images that you plant there, so that you can begin creating the life that you want, as opposed to living by default, or living the life that was created by other people rather than the life that you create intentionally for yourself. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to 1 million subscribers, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.